Well, any cancer diagnosis is a real jolt to anyone and their family as well, but it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. So we're going to focus on that because it can make people feel anxious, scared.
And knowing how breast cancer can affect your mental health, you need that support as well. So we're bringing in our mental health expert, Dr. Cheryl Ziegler, and we're going to talk a little bit about this because the diagnosis itself is just mind-blowing for everybody and everybody in your circle. But what about the mental health associated with breast cancer?
Yeah, so what we see is that of women that are diagnosed with breast cancer, 1 in 4 are also diagnosed with depression. And so you can also, of course, have anxiety, but depression leads the way. And so what that means is, yes, you initially, probably the majority of people go through that fear and the what if and, just feeling like their world is a little out of control at the moment. However, when you have the diagnosis of depression, that's when you start to see the symptoms like not being able to get out of bed, feeling hopelessness. That may disrupt the way that you work, the hobbies, how much you want to socialize. So it has a pretty big, widespread effect versus the initial what most people have.
Yeah, it's a jolt, as we just talked about, but I would think you talk about some people, the way they can find positivity and energy in taking on the battle, and some people find it through spirituality or whatever, but the difference between your mental ability to take it up a notch as opposed to fall into depression can be a big difference physically as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you have that physical piece that we know. You have a hard, you have side effects from the medications or the treatment process. But I think there's the other piece of what we look at, which is resilience. And that piece of, okay, so you go through this. We know, of course, that millions of people go through this. But that resilience piece is, what did you go into this with? And I think that's something to be honest with yourself. If you're new into getting the diagnosis, what's the family history of mental illness? How have you been doing yourself? Do you have a support team and a support group? How well do you sleep? Those factors also play a role, like pretty much in everything to do with mental health and how you're going to do and even what the outcomes are. So while we want to support your mental health in the moment and maybe some of that depression and anxiety, we also want to help build up resilience as well.
Yeah. I think the fear for anybody that's ever been diagnosed with cancer is that, oh gosh, it's going to come back or something else is going to happen. And the side effects, when you think of the treatments, the side effects are severe too. But for the other people around them, what can anybody else in their world do? The co-survivor, how do you say, I think you might be depressed, or what can you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a good one. And we do, of course, want to focus on people who have the diagnosis, but we can't forget their whole support system because their support system really make the difference on how they're going to do. I think, there's everything from suggesting professional support. There's everything from saying, hey, there's a support group, which I really like that part because at least that's a group of people who can say, I know what it's like to be in your shoes.
Right.
So that part is really huge. And I think the other thing is a lot of patience. I think that what I hear is sometimes family members, first of all, you can have a variety of reactions from, I'm avoiding you now, maybe if I'm a friend, right? I don't know what to say to you, so now I'm avoiding you, or I'm pretending this isn't happening, or I'm overly focused on what's going to happen. So I think a communication where you say to somebody, I don't know how to support you, but I want to. Tell me what would be helpful today, and say to them, and I acknowledge that what you might say today might change next week, it might change next month, and I'm here for it, but I'm going to need a little help. And they might say, I don't know, I don't know, this is new for me too, and say, okay, well, I'm going to do the best that I can. Can we please keep the lines of communication open? Just know everything I'm doing is coming out of love, and if I'm missing the mark, I'm making you mad, please tell me, because I'm learning too. And I just think that humility and communication is so important.
Yeah, and those support groups, even if they aren't with you all the way, are a good way to start, to find those groups that have been there and done that. Dr. Cheryl Ziegler, it's always good to see you.
Thanks
for stopping by today.